Good? Yes.
Tough.
All right, my friends, here we go. So now we've just finished paragraph number 9. And the Rebbe is trying to convince us that we should be very, very motivated to the essence of our soul to do something about the fact that we're in exile. One second, let me close the door here. That we are in exile. And what does it mean, exile? The people don't know about Hashem. They don't know about the Creator. They don't know about the Torah. And if they do know it, they don't act like they know it. And as long as we see that there's even one person in one corner of the world that is not aware of the fact that there's a Creator that's creating them, and that should be foremost in everyone's mind, and that the Creator wants us to use our free will to serve Him, to do what He wants. If there's one person in the world that doesn't know that, that means we're in gullus, we're in exile. Even if there's a temple, even if it's in the first time of the first temple, the second temple, and of course we see that there's no temple. That's even a bigger sign. But even if there was, that's what the Rebbe wants to do. He wants to convince us of what's really important. So the Rebbe points out that we see an example of this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. We see an example of this in Purim. In Purim, we see that there was an amazing miracle. The Jewish people stood firm against Haman. And then it says that because of that, they accepted the Torah the first time. They really got the point of the Torah, namely self-sacrifice. But the Rebbe says, if you look closely at that sentence, you'll see in the Megillah, you'll see that when did the Jews really accept the Torah? When does it say that they really had self-sacrifice? When Haman was already dead, and when the Jews had already won their battle, and when there was no danger, and when they did not have to sacrifice their lives for their Judaism, when everything was good, when Achashverosh gave all of Haman's power, he gave it to Esther. Beit Haman Natati Esther, and all the non-Jews, they wanted to convert. That's when the Jews had really self-sacrifice. So the Rebbe, on what? What do they have self-sacrifice on? So the Rebbe said the only answer we can give is they had self-sacrifice on the fact that we are in gullus, that we are in exile, that God is not revealed everywhere. And in fact, the Rebbe didn't bring that in the Maimer, but it comes out in law on Purim, the holiday of Purim. We do not say Tachanun. We do not say Hallel. We do not say Hallel on Purim. Why don't we say Hallel, such a happy holiday? Because it says because we have not yet gone out of the jurisdiction of Achashverosh. Even now, we are still servants of Achashverosh. Akate avdei Achashverosh anan. Even now, we are the servants of Achashverosh. What does it mean? Our Jewish identity is not revealed. What's the Jewish identity? That God, the creator of the universe, is creating the universe, and he has a purpose. And everyone has this opportunity and obligation and merit to serve him, to be his partner. True, it's not easy, but that's what life is about. So the Rebbe said, there's two types of being crushed. One type of being crushed is when you crush from the outside, and the other one is when you crush yourself, you motivate yourself. Maybe we can even say it something like this, a little bit like this, that in the time of Purim, the Jews were crushed from the outside. They wanted to serve God, but they were impeded. The world crushed them. There was a decree on them. Nowadays, the world is not stopping us at all. It's just we don't want to. That's what the Rebbe wants to inspire on us. This is the whole point of the creation now in our generation, when we can do whatever we want to. No one's forcing us. There's no one reminding us that we're Jewish. And especially that the whole world is in our responsibility. I'm going to fix up the whole world. Everybody in Africa is going to know about God. The people in whatever it is in China or someplace, they're not going to kill each other. In Iraq and Iran, they're going to change I can do that. What are you talking about? And the Rebbe said, oh, that's the exile. When you think you can't do it, that's the exile. You have to go out of that. Here we'll see an example. Yud. Yesh Lomar, we can say that this level of the essence of the soul, which is called the illuminator of the soul, the source of the light of the soul, Hamidgali, which is revealed al yadei by means of ha'in, the katit, being crushed from the fact that we are in galut, that we are in exile, that God is not revealed everywhere. And again, I just want to stress, I can't stress too much. What does it mean when God is revealed everywhere? I've said it many, many times, but I think it's very important because the other religions have so poisoned reality. All the other religions say, you believe like us, when you get to this level, then that's it. You're made. You're a made man. You're made. You're part of God. And that's it. Every life is just beautiful from now on. You're going to go to heaven, and that's it. Life is just coasting. And Judaism says almost totally the opposite. When God is revealed, you feel more responsibility. You feel more, achrayut. In a way, you feel more a partner with the Creator to improve the world. God is like the silent partner. He's giving us the power. He's giving us the directions. He's giving us the motivation if we want. But we have to do the work ourselves. That when a person feels God, they would go to the Holy Temple 3 times a year, right? 3 times a year, they would feel God. They would feel happy. What would they feel? They'd feel responsibility. They would feel an obligation to do what it says in the Torah down here in this physical world, even though we don't see God and we don't feel God. To try to feel God, it's a commandment to love God. They would go to the Holy Temple. It says they would see God. It says everyone would see God and be seen by God. See, it would be like on Mount Sinai. What's the point of seeing God? You feel more pressure. You feel more of an obligation. I have to do what God says. I have to improve the world. You're not thinking about yourself. Not at all. I got a big revelation. Now I'm fixed up. I'm going to heaven. People went to the Holy Temple. They didn't think about heaven. They stopped thinking about themselves, not physically, not spiritually. They thought about the Creator. And everything they did was for the Creator. The Creator He's creating everything. So that feeling God makes the world more dynamic, more active, more potential is revealed. But that we have to start it off by crushing ourselves. That's what the Rebbe says. We have to start to feel this responsibility more and more. That's what the Rebbe wants to give us. Namely, that we're crushed because we are in Gullus. We're crushed because we're not inspired. That's what crushes us. We're crushed because the world is in a terrible shape and we can fix it up and we don't care and we don't believe it or we don't, whatever reasons, excuses we have. This being crushed, a person, so to speak, crushes himself, that he feels this responsibility himself. This is higher than the level of the Me'or, the Neshama, than the aspect of the soul, which is revealed by means of self-sacrifice, like it was in the time of Haman, Achashverosh, Stalin. Here we'll see. The Me'atamim, that one of the reasons that Matan Torah, when the Torah was given, that was only the beginning, like it says, Hatchala Lasot. Right? In the Megillah of Esther, it says that the Jews on Purim, they finally received what they began to do, or they accepted what they had already received. The giving of the Torah, when God gave the Torah, that was the beginning. In the days of Achashverosh, that was when the Jews actually accepted the Torah. They actually fulfilled, they activated their what's called self-sacrifice. Who is Kizeh, Sheikdimu Nasad Lenishba, that which on Mount Sinai, before they received the Torah, it says the Jews said, we will do it. God said, you want the Torah? There's a midrash that says that God went around to all the other nations and asked them if they wanted the Torah. And they said, yeah, it could be, what's written in it. So God told them exactly what they didn't want to hear. To one nation that they loved war, he said, don't kill. They said, we don't like. Another nation that they loved stealing, right? God said, don't steal. If God would have gone to the other nations and said, honor your mother and father, they said, oh, that's nice. That's a nice commandment, a nice commandment. Keep the Sabbath day, rest on the Sabbath. That's a pretty good commandment. You get a day off. That's nice. No, God went and told them exactly what they didn't want to hear. To the nation that loved they say decadence, he said, don't be decadent. They said, no, we don't want a Bible like that. That's not for us. No, that's not life. The Bible is for us, it's not we're for the Bible. He went to the Jews and said, you want the Torah? In my opinion, the Jews said immediately, we'll do it. We'll do it. We're not asking any questions. We'll do it. And afterwards, we'll ask questions. You have to understand as much as you can in the Torah. It's good to ask questions. The Torah encourages questions. Right? But the Torah does not depend on the answers. We'll do whatever you say, God. My personal interpretation of this is that if the Jews would have said what's written in it, if God would have told the Jews anything, no matter what he would have told them, they would have said, no, we don't want to do it. Right? Honor your mother and father, not for me. What about putting on tefillin? Doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to do it. Okay, then what about something like, don't eat pork? Come on. Can't tell me what to do. Jews don't like to be told what to do. Amazingly, the Jews did not ask any questions. They said, we'll do whatever you say, God. We're giving ourselves over to you. Ooh, this is a big secret. This is an amazing thing. That which the Jews said, Na'aseh v'nishma, where are we? That which the Jewish people preceded when they received the Torah, they said, Na'aseh, we will do, and then we will understand. At Ma'an Torah, why did they do it? Kafa aleim harkegiyit. It says it's in the Talmud in Shabbat, that God turned over the mountain, held the mountain over them. It says it says they stood under Mount Sinai. God held the mountain over them, and He forced them to say, it says that the Chassidus explains it, that what does it mean? The mountain, it's a metaphor for love. God showed them so much love that they were ashamed to say, we don't want it. Took them out of Egypt, gave them food from heaven. Now He said, I'm give you my secret. You want it? They said, we'll do whatever you say, God. In any case, they were forced, coerced. Giloi milamayla, there was a revelation from above. Ubiyamei, look at this. Oh, you put this here, you get a little thing. Ubiyamei Achashverosh, in the days of Achashverosh, the Kabbalah, that the Jewish people accepted, the Torah, was from themselves. Again, what happened on the days of Achashverosh? There was a decree to kill, destroy, liquidate all of the Jews. And any Jew that just denied his Judaism said, I'm not a Jew. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? I'm not a Jew at all. Then he would have been out of the decree. No pressure. And there was not one Jew that even thought to say that. Total self-sacrifice. They were willing to put themselves in harm's way and not to deny their Judaism. Oh, that's accepting the Torah. That's the point that God wanted. The Torah. Don't think about yourself. Think about what's right. Think about serving the Creator. Forget about going to heaven. Forget about going to hell. Forget about that. That's not your point. You do what God wants. That's all. Do what God wants. Do it the way that God wants. That's called giving yourself over. right? Self-sacrifice. We can say she'amuna the Israel, that the faith that the Jewish people had, mitzad zeh, because of this, she'aneshama, that the soul above sees godliness. Remember we talked about that in the beginning of the Maimer? We said emuna, that comes from a reason that the soul sees, mazleu chazi. This is something like what it says that the Jewish people, they preceded Na'aseh v'nishma at Mount Torah. Why did the Jewish people at Mount Sinai, you have to realize what's going on over here. The Jewish people, Judaism is based on this crazy story that even those religions that try to replace Judaism, they claim that they are the chosen ones now, they didn't even make up such a story. God himself, the creator of the universe, who's creating everything constantly, all the stars and the skies and the spirits and all these gods that the non-Jews believe in, he actually took, this God who is infinite, there's no shape, no form, he creates all shape, all form, all being, he's above the spiritual, and he took the Jewish people out of, why do they call it he? Because it's the giving aspect, it's the masculine aspect. He took the Jews out of Egypt, he cares, it matters to him. He took the Jews out of Egypt, he gave them food in the desert, split the sea, and he revealed himself at Mount Torah. The Jews at Mount Sinai, therefore they said, Na'aseh v'nishma. Why? Because God had done so much for them. The reason that they had this self-sacrifice at Mount Sinai, they just gave themselves over to God and said, we'll do whatever you want, God. We're not asking any questions. This is because of the revelation that was from above. And this, in the days of Achashverosh, they received the Torah. It says they actually received the Torah. Then there was really true self-sacrifice with no thought of remuneration. Exactly the opposite. Because of their self-sacrifice, they were going to lose their lives. This was because as then there was revealed the essential attachment to God that has in the essence of the soul, etzem and neshama of every Jew. That's what makes a Jew, right? You go up to Trotsky, who was an anti-life person, terrible person, murderer, mass murderer, hated, tell him you're a dirty Jew, he didn't like, they called him that, didn't like it. He didn't believe in God, he didn't believe in the Torah, he was against everything, was a communist, sworn communist. Tell him a Jew, all of a sudden something wakes up. I just took him for an example. A Jew knows he's a Jew. He can't deny the fact that he's a Jew. But he can try to deny them. And the most successful ones in denying they're Jews are the Israelis. And nevertheless, when it comes right down to it, right, what can they do? This is an essential, it reveals what it means that he's a Jew, that you do something. That's what was revealed by means of Haman in Purim. Especially, we can say, when the essence of the soul is revealed, there is like two things. What are the two things? When the essence of the soul, of the Jewish soul is revealed, which we said, that's self-sacrifice. The Jew doesn't care about anything. He's willing to be burned on the stake. He's not going to deny his Judaism. Not all Jews do this, right? Every Jew is different. There were Jews that they refused to give their lives. And just by the way, interestingly enough, if a Jew is forced, let's say, to bow down to the cross or something, so he's supposed to give his life. But if he doesn't, if he bows down, absolutely, there's no punishment. No punishment. He's under duress. A person who sins under duress is not punishable. And that makes it even more amazing that there were Jews that were willing to give their lives and say, I'm not bowing down, Shema Yisrael, even non-religious Jews, right? So I'm not going to bow down, I'm a Jew, right? Come on, man, bow down to the idol, be a servant of Achashverosh, deny your Judaism for 1 minute, for a couple of seconds. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? You won't even be punished. It's not even against the Torah to do it. No way. Not going to do it. Shema Yisrael. What happened? Suddenly the essence of the soul revealed, and it's something that's just above all logic and reason and all these, humanities things. The Gilui Etzem Neshama, the essence of the soul, that's called Mesirut Nefesh. That's called what you call is giving your soul away. I'm not interested in what I get, only in the truth. We can say that if you compare the essence of the soul to your personality, your persona, your talents, your abilities, your nature, the essence of the soul is something like, it's like an additional thing, right? He happens to be, he's a professor and he's a leader and he's a family and he's also a Jew. I'm also a Jew. The Kamosha Roim, Bepoil, Bekama Nashim, like we say many times. The reason I bring up this Trotsky, I don't know if you know who Trotsky was. Trotsky was Leon Trotsky, was a big communist. He formed the Red Army. He was very, very, if you want to call it, essential in establishing the communist government in Russia. And eventually Stalin killed him. But he was like a sworn communist, and communism is general, against Boga Niet, there's no God. And he was like the leader of them. He was the highest. And I once saw an interview with him. It was interesting. I once saw an interview. They interviewed him. And they said, what do you say about religion? And he said, it's stupid, it's ridiculous, it's dumb. And he said, but Stalin went against him because he was a Jew. He said, yes. He said, I don't believe in anything. I don't this, but said, I'm an atheist and I'm this, but I guess you have to say that I'm an atheist Jew, he said. I'm an atheist Jew. Something like that, he said. Atheist Jew. In other words, he could not, and he didn't even want to, deny the essence. In a way, he was sort of like proud. That was, in a way, that was the only true thing that he had, that he was a Jew. The whole rest of his thing was just for totally destructive and false. And, as big a genius, he was an amazing genius, and he knew like 15 languages fluently, and he had an amazing memory, and it was, and he was a murderer, and he was this, and a leader, and and a politician, fantastic politician, but all that was a big bluff. The whole thing was a big bluff, but somehow or other there was and everything that he did, his whole life was against being a Jew, against everything Judaism stood for. That there was God, that there was order, that there was good in everybody, that there's a creator, that there's a reason for the creation, everything he did, everything he said, all of his philosophy, everything was against everything that Judaism stood for. And nevertheless, he said in the end, but I'm a Jew. Says the Rebbe, that's what's called, in a way, that's this point of self-sacrifice. It's something like being extra on your personality. That's what was in the time of Haman. All the Jews went to the meal of Achashverosh. All the Jews gave up on the temple being rebuilt. The 70 years had already passed. That's what they thought. And so they decided, hey, we can be normal people. We can be regular people like everybody else. And all of a sudden came this decree to kill all the Jews. And all they had to do just to resume their life was say, oh, Jew, I'm not a Jew. That's it. And they could have just resumed their life. There's not going to be any Messiah. There's not going to be any second temple. This was the second temple. Not going to be a second temple. And we're just, a little drop in this ocean of non-Jews who have succeeded in conquering the whole world. And we've conquered absolutely nothing. We're so let's just, take the hint. How do you say? Wake up, smell the coffee. We're losers. We're losers. Forget about Judaism. Right? And all of a sudden, woke up. No, we're Jews. I am a Jew. It's like additional onto their personality. It didn't really change their personality. It sort of wiped out temporarily their personality. Says it's something like davar nosaf. It's like an additional thing to my personality, right? I am a doctor. I am a this. I am a music. I'm also a Jew. Like we can see Paul Mamish with many people. When the Jews were in a place that there was Gezeros al Torah v'mitzvot, Chassidim, that they were in, let's say, Russia, and there were decrees against doing Torah and learning Torah and doing the commandments, Hayalem Mesirut Nefesh, that these Jews had self-sacrificed, b'poel, actually, b'meshech kama v'kama mashanim, for the course of many, many years, right? There were Jews in Russia that they had self-sacrifice. You saw them. They didn't eat, didn't sleep. They risked their lives to go and teach children in order to make circumcisions, right? There used to be a Rabbi Raskin used to be here in Kfar Chabad to be a shochet, right? He told me that in Russia that he used to have, in his pocket, he had a hole all the time in his pocket. And he would go to, he was a mohel, did circumcisions, and it was totally forbidden. He had a hole in his pocket, and he put the knife that he used for the circumcision, he wrapped it up so they wouldn't hear. If he thought somebody was running after him, he would have his hand in his pocket, he would let the knife go, and it would fall down into the street. He wouldn't hear it, right? And he would walk, and that's the way he lost who knows how many tens of knives that way. Because it was dangerous to make a circumcision. It was dangerous. Self-sacrifice and credit. So why did he go and do it? Why did he do it? Why? So because self-sacrifice for Judaism. But when they came afterwards, Medina, to a country, that they could learn Torah and do the commandments in a wide way, right? They left, they went to England, they went to America, they came to Israel. Here, nobody can do Torah mitzvahs in the middle of the street. No one's going to stop you. You cannot see, there was not so evident the self-sacrifice that they had before. Why? Because that which these Jews, right, in the concentration camps or in the work camps in Russia, and the gulags, right, in Russia, that they put on tefillin and they sacrificed themselves and they didn't eat not kosher food and they kept the Shabbat as much as they could. The self-sacrifice, if they were getting caught, they would have gotten killed, who knows. They did it for years. Is because she'eir behem, because they're shined up in them, they were pressured from the outside, and they suddenly woke up in them, gilui etzem and neshama, the essence of their soul, which is above kochot giluim, which is above any of their normal personality features. Understanding, self-preservation, right? All these things. You ever read Maslow's, whatever his hierarchy of needs, human needs, right? He's willing to give up all these human needs. Basic, the food, clothing, security, health, willing to give up everything. That's his whole personality, this whole triangle of, what you need. Forget the whole thing. But it didn't make any real change in their personalities at all. So that as soon as things let up, they went back to being a normal person. Finally, I can put on tefillin. But no self-sacrifice. What happened to self-sacrifice? The essence of the soul is the etzem, is the essence also of the revealed powers. Like we said before, the essence of your soul, you only have one soul. It should be that the essence of your soul, this affects the whole rest of your personality, doesn't it? Says the Rebbe, not necessarily. It's just the essence of your soul. It's just the essence. It's not relevant to how you actually act with them. So a Jew can reveal his essence, Judaism, Jewishness, and it doesn't affect his day-to-day life. I'll tell you a story. That somebody once showed me an article. This was a long time ago. An article in Yediot Achronot. I guess the most popular daily newspaper in Israel. And they interviewed this Yemenite guy. I guess it was near Pesach, but I don't remember. Anyway, this Yemenite guy. And this Yemenite guy said, a Jew, an Israeli. He said that he has a restaurant and he sells pork in the restaurant. Pork. In Israel, it's called Basar Lavan. Shem Yishmu. And who does he sell? Sells to Jews, right? I don't think the Arabs would eat it. I don't know. But in any case, so he sells to Jews. He says, I know that I'm making people sin. He said, but that's my livelihood. What can I do? That's how I make it. He said, I want to tell you a story. Listen to this. He said, one day a man comes into the restaurant, a Jew comes into the restaurant, and he orders a ham. And he says, so I take the ham that he orders, right? It's fried, and I put it in this pita, pita bread, put it between bread and the bread. And I say, what would you like on it? Would you like some, hot spices, or would you like some, the pickles, or what would you like? So the guy looks at me, and he looks down on the sandwich. He looks at me, and he starts pounding on the table and saying, on the counter, he said, what do you think I am, a goy? What do you think I am? I'm a non-Jew. I'll burn your whole place down. I'll take your teeth out. I'll knock your brains. You're not going to get away with this. So I looked at him. I said, what are you, crazy, out of your mind? I said, there's a big sign outside that says that we sell pork here. What are you yelling about, Jew? He says, what do I care about pork? It's Passover. What are you giving me chametz for? So I looked at him and I saw that he was really serious. So I took the meat from out of the bread and I put it, I happened to have in my lunchbox that I brought from home because I keep Torah, the commandment. I put between two pieces of matzah and he sat down and he ate it. He said, look, that's a Jew. If he really cared about Judaism, so what's he eating pork for? On the other hand, if he's eating pork, so what does he care so much about Judaism for? Which is the truth? So the answer is the essence of his soul is totally Jewish, but it doesn't have an effect on his desires. He likes pork, likes to eat it. It's a good taste. On the other hand, the matzah and chometz, that doesn't make so much of a difference to him. So Pesach, he only eats matzah. He doesn't eat chometz. But he's not going to give up on a good tasting piece of pork, So in other words, it arouses the essence of his soul, but the essence of his soul has no effect on the rest of his personality. That's what the Rebbe says. The etzem and neshama is the soul, but it's not shayach, it's not relevant to the other parts of his soul. Vagili the etzem and neshama. But when the soul is revealed, the essence of the soul, the self-sacrifice is revealed, not because he's pressured from the outside, but because he's broken. He himself forces himself, that he's broken and crushed because of the fact that we're found in galut. A person says, hey, I'm a Jew. I'm responsible for the whole world. Look at the situation of the world. I have to do something. And comes his natural soul and says, "What? Come on, you're responsible for the whole world. What are you talking about? Just live your life and get on with it." Where'd you get that idea you're responsible for the whole world? Where'd you get that from? He says, I got it from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He says that I'm responsible for the whole world. And that's what a Jew is. That's what Abraham is. Av Hamon Goyim. He's responsible for, I'm a Jew. I'm responsible for the whole world. I got to do something. I got to do something. What are you going to do? You're going to change the world? No, I don't have to. I just do something little. But I have to do this. Let's get this idea out of your mind. You're not responsible for the whole world. Says the Rebbe, when a person does really accept this on himself, that he really is responsible for the whole world, and he can't say, let somebody else do it, then all of a sudden what happens, the essence of his soul not only affects his Jewishness, when there's something around, he's giving him chometz to eat or whatever, they're trying to force him to bow down to this idol, but then it affects also kochot hagiluim, also his personality. Hatziur b'kochot hagiluim, even his, his character, his talents, his abilities, his whole being is now affected. Now his whole being is crushed. If really I am responsible, means that I am responsible for the whole entire world, means all of me is responsible, all of my talents, all my powers, all my time, all my... This is like everything becomes one. It becomes devoted to this essence. See, there's a nice note over here. Okay. We can say, okay, so what does the Rebbe want to do? The Rebbe wants to not only activate the essence of our Jewish soul, he wants that the essence of our Jewish soul should affect every moment, every of our lives, every fiber of our being. And namely, what does it mean? We're supposed to stand up and start screaming? Listen, if that's what the Torah says you should do, but the Torah doesn't say you should do that. The Torah says that you should be a normal person, and everything you do in your normal person life should be devoted to making the world a better place, a godly place. And once in a while, you have to do things, go out and put tefillin on people. Find a partner. Find somebody to go with you. Do some sort of tricks. But to be a good example, teach someone Torah, invite someone Torah, give money to learn Torah. But it has to be just not a one-time thing. It has to be a thing that's constant all the time. It's on your mind. What can I do? And then, you know what? Hashem helps. If a person just has this attitude, he opens up his mind a little bit, like it says, like a little hole of a needle, Hashem will give you opportunity. You can learn a little more Torah. You can invite a few more guests on Shabbos. You can encourage some other people to learn. Something will pop up in your mind, a new thing, a new idea. I don't know, some guy I know, he made a puppet show, right? Made a puppet show. It worked. He did a puppet show. He thought he could make up. All of a sudden, new things, new qualities, new abilities pop up that he never thought that he would have. You'll have a little bit of time to give to say a good word to somebody. Something new, something that hasn't been done, that nobody has done. All of a sudden, you'll do it. And who knows what? You'll make a new hat. You'll make a new shoe. Whatever, something will happen that if you can convince even one person that God is good and that the world is really a good place and we have to make it better, then you've done an amazing thing. You've made a little bit of light, and that has a butterfly effect. But it affects your whole being. If you're crushed from the fact that Stalin, that Hitler, the whatever, that Achashverosh is crushing you, so that reveals the essence of your Jewish soul, but it doesn't reveal much more. As soon as the pressure is gone, whew. But if you're pressured by the fact that we're in Gullus, then that pressure is the healthiest thing in the world. It really activates every aspect of your being. You won't be lazy anymore. You won't be dishonest anymore. You won't be, how do you say, negative. You won't be depressed. You won't get angry. There's no place for these things. You've got a goal. We can say, that was the essence of the Jewish soul. But tziyur, and also the tziyur, the form of the kochot, namely your personality, your character, that they are something like two separate things. Hulafi is because gamla etzem and neshama, because the soul itself is also, there's two levels of it. There's the essence of the soul, how it can be sort of defined. It comes because you see God. It comes because of Haman pressuring you. And that's what's called the external part of the essence of the soul. Hageder shalohu lamayla mihatzir dekochot. Namely, the essence of your soul is exactly that, is the essence of the soul. It's not part of your regular soul. It's the essence of your soul. So therefore, it's sort of defined. It's separate. But from the essence of the soul, kamoshahu as it is, mushrashas ba'atzmos, but the essence of the soul, how it is, rooted in the essence of God. And what is the essence of God? Where is the essence of God expressed? In this physical world. Who's making the world? God is making the world. And God, where did God give the Torah? In this physical world. Where will be the raising of the dead? In this physical world. This physical world, your physical personality, that's where the true essence of your soul can be expressed. Because the true essence of the Jewish soul is the true essence of God. The Jews are the sons of God. Hapeshitos, the neshama, this is the simplicity of the soul. Really, it says, there's a lot of places where it says that which we're sons of God is not as high a level, not as essential a level, an attachment as that the fact that we're servants of God. That we're servants of God. Because a son, to a father, it's a natural thing. You're a son automatically, whether you want to or not. But the servant means that you're using your free will. You're choosing. And choosing comes from a part that's more essential than inheritance. Inheritance is something sort of natural. I'm the son of my father because that's the way the world works. But using my free will, that's already the godly part of me. That's how I become partners with God, by my free will. A Jew can use his free will to go against God, to do nothing. Using that free will, that's called being a servant of God. V'hageder shalah, this aspect of the soul, which is serving God, this is above mitzira kochos. This is above. I'm sorry. This is the level of the essence of the soul, the lower aspect. This is the essence of the soul, how it is removed from your personality. Of a mitzad etzem and neshama kamoshim. Oh, I skipped the line. As was hapshitos, the neshama, the simplicity of the soul. This is like the aspect of being a servant of God. Vatzir, the kochot shelo, these are totally one. When a Jew makes the right choice, he chooses to do what God wants, then that awakens really the essence of his soul. And what does God want? That we should fix up the whole world. According to this, we can say the bechinas ha'ma'or shebeneshama, this aspect of the soul, which is called the me'or, the illuminator of the soul, shemit galit, which is revealed by means of self-sacrifice, like it was in the time of Haman, before the Jews won the victories of Purim. This is the essence of the soul, kamoshehu, as it is, kamoshehi, as it is, mugdera, defined, be'inyan peshitut, that it is simple, above any of the other powers. The essence of the soul, that at any moment in a Jew, it can wipe out all of the rest of his personality. He's willing to give his life. But that still is the light of the soul. The me'or, the source of light of the soul, this is revealed by means of being crushed from the fact that we're in galut, that we're in exile. In other words, we see responsibility everywhere we go to fix the world up. This crushes us. This is a revelation of the soul, the essence of the soul, as it is rooted in God's essence. And that affects all of your personality, all of your time. This is what is the Rebbe saying? The Rebbe is saying that when a Jew feels his responsibility, right, that's the essence of the idea of the Mashiach. A Jew feels the essence of his responsibility to the Creator to make this world a better place, and he sees that the responsibility is really, really very urgent, that we should activate it. He sees this, he feels it. So then life is a little bit different, right? A little bit different. Why do people get angry? He did something wrong to me. Did something wrong to me. Okay, good. He did something wrong to you. But now the point is yes, okay, I have justification. Just take an example to get angry. But is this really going to help clarify the world, to get rid of the gullus? In other words, that's the first thing on his mind. Is this going to get rid of the exile? Like, getting angry is going to get rid of the exile. Getting depressed, being lazy, is that going to get rid of the exile? Is that going to be, I have every reason to be depressed. I have a personality it's very easy for me to fall into depression. But I have a goal. I know so many people that they have to go to work. Because they have to go to work, so they have to go to work, right? They go to work, they wake up in the morning. As soon as there's no work, that's one of the big, terrible things now with this corona panic, this whole bluff. It's just insane. Mamish going mad, just seeing what's going on. I'm not affected. I'm affected positively. All these people are watching the Zoom. But there's so many people that have no reason to wake up in the morning. They used to go to work. They used to see people. They used to help people. They used to do things. And now all of a sudden, Shem Yishmor. A person has a goal, a purpose in life, something to look forward to in the future, something that he's improving, fixing up. He's selling a person a screwdriver or something like that. He's doing something, giving a person a sandwich. Right? Improving. So when you have a purpose, it takes away 90% of your bad personality problems. If your purpose is really sufficient, then it takes away it. Here the Rebbe is telling us the real, true purpose of creation that should consume our whole being and make us really happy and positive and productive people. We have a goal, and our goal is to fix up the whole world. And we shouldn't use any excuses or reasons. How do you say seldom is heard a discouraging word? We discourage ourselves. I can't do it. Who am I? I don't even know what I'm doing. What am I talking about? No, the Rebbe said a person that knows Aleph and Beis, he can teach the Beis to somebody who only knows Aleph. So that's what the Rebbe is saying. We see the world. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Chassidut explains how it's supposed to be. Not how are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? Let's just forget it. Let's give up. Let's be frustrated. Says the Rebbe, then you're part of the world. You have the chance to defy the darkness, to defy the misery and ignorance of the world. How? Do one little good thing. No big deal. You don't have to put big advertisements in the New York Times. If you want to do that, it's also good. One good thing, one genuine thing can change the whole entire world. One genuine thing. They have this thing called the black hole, right? The black hole, it says it sucks all reality. It's a tremendously, whatever it is, a burnt out star that has tremendous gravity and it pulls everything in. Well, that's a negative thing. Positive is more powerful than negative. Maruba mita tova mita pronius. It says good is stronger than bad. Do one good thing, you'll be not just a black hole, you'll be a white mountain, whatever you want to call it. So that's our ability. That's what the Rebbe wants to activate us to do, right? In order to do that, you have to learn about what God is, and you have to inspire yourself. And you can't just stand and say, "Oh, I'm going to bring the redemption." You have to know what to do a little bit, right? Do even one positive thing, one more good word, one more good thought, and that could change the whole entire creation of the universe. Okay, thank you very much. Now we're going to learn a Sicha of the Rebbe, which I hope